Hey gang, Amrasil here. This is an all tier 10 match, and I am playing the Shimakaze. And this game I thought was interesting on its own merits. Ended up being a very close game, surprisingly, and you'll see why it's surprising. But in addition to that, there was a conversation going on in the ICOP Discord. One of our guys commented there that he was struggling with high tier DDs, and he's certainly not alone. It's become increasingly more difficult since the CV rework and the proliferation of additional radar boats. And then, as kind of an ancillary to that, all the hydro that's out there. So anyway, we were discussing some just kind of general tactics. And then he mentioned that it was Fletcher in particular he was having a struggle with. And, in thinking about it, although I love the Fletcher, you can see we got a couple guys that are just figuring out how to do in-game chat. Most of my games in the Fletcher were before the CV rework. And, it was one of my favorite destroyers. It might be much more difficult now. But anyhow, all that aside, what am I doing here? Well, you can see you've got some radar in the enemy team. No aircraft to worry about, thank goodness. And because it's just radar, I've opted to push up close. Kaba was on the other side, and I know he could have supported me if I had gone to A, but I anticipated that the enemy team would predict that our stealth DDs would go to the flanks, and I just didn't want to get caught by radar in open space, which is what A would have been. And you can see that it's already being flipped by the red team. So what I've decided to do is to position myself in such a way as that I can reverse into the B cap after I throw torpedoes across the A cap. Now I'm the first to admit this is kind of a long shot, but occasionally you can catch somebody. I wish I'd have seen that smoke just a little bit earlier. But, be that as it may, I'm going to go ahead and reverse into the cap. I can see that there's a Z-52 on the north side of, well, actually a north and south side of the Charlie cap.
Concentrate fire on the target.
And the game is now thoroughly underway. Now, you'll see a little bit later in the game that our Kaba player was a little bit irritated with me, his contention being that I wasn't spotting. Now, it's true that I'm not spotting at A because I am currently trying to secure the B cap. But a little bit later in the game, and yeah, I know I could get radared here, and I expected the radar to happen right now. But he may have already used it. It might have been on cooldown. So I was thinking, well, maybe I can get the cap, and even if he does radar at this point, I might be able to make use of the island to avoid getting smacked around too much. Anyway, the Kaba captain's contention was that I wasn't spotting, and that had basically that lost us the game. I being in this ship and being this perspective, I know that I had to keep an eye on that Moskva pretty much the whole game, and that when I'm at the A cap, I'm in open water for the most part. So I have to be really cautious. Yeah, there's the radar. You can see I've just got a few seconds left, so I'm going to go ahead and ride that out. Hope I don't get hit and get the heck out of Dodge. And now, yeah, I got to go help at A. Absolutely. Our boys at C, they're holding their own, at least thus far. We'll try and get out of radar range and then head that way. Now, I typed, I think, 2 things during the course of this game, and it's just a good example of how things can be misinterpreted. At one point, I think I typed something along the lines of, I don't have any support today. I'm going to have to fall back. I just wanted to explain to the guys on that flank why I was leaving the cap.
Roger.
You know, I'm sure all of them were in a position where they felt like, okay, I got to fall back. I'm getting burned down or whatever. I have no problem with that. Just wanted them to know why I was leaving the cap.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
A little while later, we lost 2 ships in like a second and a half. And I think I typed, wow. And I think our Kaba captain thought I was complaining. I really wasn't. It's just, holy cow, that's not good. Yeah, I wasted a lot of torps right there, but wanted to make sure that we killed Harugumo, if not with guns, then with those torps. And now I'm in position to
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
really try and help out here at this cap.
Anti-aircraft fire support.
You can see the enemy Summers is in the B cap. We've got a Zhao and an Ohio pushing into that. That's dangerous. You know, my hat's off to both of those guys for going for it. Their DDs really did a great job. Summers in particular, I think, really played a great game until the very end. But you know, 99% of the game, my hat is tipped. I know that these little shells aren't going to do a whole lot even if I hit it, but I want to just at least try. Maybe I get another fire or something, 'cause that's definitely the biggest threat to me. So you can see there's a Thunderer, a Republic, Moskva, and a Venezia on this side. Now Venezia he's changing position, but that was a lot of threat for Shimakaze. And now, at long last, 7 minutes into the game, I'm here and trying to get control of the A cap. Just having a look at where everybody's at. And you can see that I am now under radar. Moskva just went behind the island. So I have an opportunity here to stay in the cap without getting shot. You can see Summers doesn't have a shot at me. But he's now closing on our Ohio, and he would only do that if he had torps ready. So I'm expecting any second now this is going to go badly for Ohio. Now I know Moskva's just going to blind fire at this point, but I got to move forward or he's going to pace me. Yeah, so alright, that's fine. I'll take an opportunity here to throw some torpedoes at the Thunderer. I was able to stop the points ticking, you know, for them at A for, you know, a few seconds. And every little bit can help. So I'm just going to kind of move up here, throw torps out at Thunderer, and then I'm going to try and get back in the cap. Just trying to make the most of whatever opportunities I have. I kind of had to move there or I knew I was going to take damage, so just kind of skirt around this island here and throw some torpedoes out at Thunderer and try and get back in the cap. Now you can see Venezia is coming back, and that is huge threat for a destroyer. And I'm at a range now where he would land the majority of his shells, and that SAP just shreds destroyers. So I'm going to run for the south end of the cap. And, you know, I need a minute to secure this cap, and I'm concerned, of course, that radar is going to be back up and that I'm going to get caught. But I know I have at least a little bit of time while I traverse the cap to try and get to the south end of it. But it's a calculated risk. Okay, so I was able to finish off the Thunderer, yay. We're down 2 ships, they're down 2 ships, but they've got a pretty commanding lead in terms of points, just from cap control. Now I need 20 seconds here, and I really don't think I'm going to get it. So I'm going to get as close to the edge of the cap as I can in order to allow myself to run if and when that radar pops, or if and when the Summers comes back. Now watch this, 5.4. 3, 2.
全艦目標に攻撃を集中せよ
Did you see that? Yeah, it was just at 0 basically, and Summers got in the cab, so. A little chip damage on him, but I cannot gunfight with the Summers. And that Moskva's radar was going to be back up, so I had to move out of the cap again. Now Kurfürst is pushing up. I'm pretty sure he knows the Summers there, but in case he didn't, I just pinging the map saying, "Hey brother, position accordingly. You got a Summers there, and they've got nasty torpedoes, and they've got good guns, which is why I ran." There's Z-52 manages to drag ours down. Just blindly throwing torps out there in the hope that maybe, just maybe, I might catch Summers crossing to reposition. And I'm back in here trying to contest the ACAP. And any of you who play destroyers and have had to contend with the Summers, you know why I'm playing so cautiously. It's got fantastic guns. They hit pretty hard and reload pretty quickly, and there's a lot of them. And keep an eye on our Montana here. Summers is back in the cab. I hit the speed boost because I don't want to get caught unable to maneuver. Just kind of blind fire here. Maybe I'll catch him with some damage. Landed a couple shells. It all adds up. So we've got our Montana, who is at the south end of this island, just off to my port side, and he's contending with Moskva, and there's a Yamato in the B cap. Things aren't looking very good for us right now. We're down 4 ships, they're down 3. We have 1 cap, they have 2. And they have a 350 point lead. So right now I'm looking at what can I do to maybe help turn the tide here. Well, if I can torpedo the Moskva, that'll certainly help, because that'll free me up a lot. Then all I have to really worry about is being spotted by the Summers. And you can see now that their Z-52 is working on taking away our 1 cap. Now I'm watching our Montana, and he's turned around and he's actually heading back in there. And I'm worried that if I torp the Moskva right now, our Montana's going to run right into those torpedoes. So while I positioned this way to be able to throw those torpedoes, I really felt like it wasn't worth the risk, because I can't expect our Montana captain to be looking this way, it just wouldn't be fair to throw those torpedoes out there, because he might be trying to make a big push, try and catch somebody in his broadside. You just never know. But I'm watching his hit points here, and I see those torpedoes. Now I figure with the torpedoes he's slowing down. And it ends up really not mattering a hill of beans anyway, because Summers got him with torpedoes, and that's the end of that. And I threw some torpedoes north in the hope that maybe Republic might turn into them. I realize it's a real long shot, but yeah, it's looking more and more like he's just going to run north and get away from him. And now I'm really hoping I'm just going to catch the Moskva and finish him off. And that's where I said, wow, we just lost the Kaba and the Kurfürst in about a second and a half. Now I did manage to get the Moskva, and our Yamato got a Des Moines. So, we did trade ship for ship there, more or less. But still, we're down to 4 ships. They still got 6, and they definitely have cap control. And they have a 612 point lead. So this is really, really an uphill battle. But not giving up yet. We're still in the game. And you know, we've still got our Yami, and he can turn the tide on anything he puts his guns on. We've got a Des Moines, Venezia, and myself. I'm going to have to help it be. There's just no other way around it. Our Yamato and the enemy Yamato, they just sailed right by each other. Okay, so I'm detected by Summers. I'm going to come to starboard here and try to get my rear guns on the Summers before he smokes up, because I'm sure he's going to. Yeah, there's that Venezia. I'm just slowing down here, trying to avoid getting hit any more than I have to be. And I can't sit here. You know, the Summers was sitting there broadside. So what can I do? Well, I can torp that gap. I know there's a Republic there. Venezia might be with him. Let's just put torps through the entire gap. Yeah, there's the Venezia. And hope for the best. Okay, we've got the cap. They're going to try and contest it. I know they're going to want to take it. They've got to be feeling like they've got a big advantage and they can be aggressive here, and then our Yamato finishes off theirs. Now it's 4 ships to 5. Here come the Summers torpedoes. And I am already accelerating to try and avoid those, heading for the B cap with our Yamato. Now, as it stands right now, they are contesting A, which is the only camp we had, but we're contesting, and there goes the Republic. And we're contesting both the camps that they have, so right now nobody's really getting points, unless they sink something. So I'm just going to help Yamato. I'm going to stay behind this island so I'm not in the middle of a torpedo lane. So we know that there's somebody off that direction. We've got, what, 11 seconds now until we can secure this. Our Yami's putting shells on the only thing he can see, which is the enemy Holland. And I decide, okay, I've got to try and move to this side and do some spotting for our Yami. And Venezia's in bad shape. I know the Summers is there. He's going to be able to smack me around a little bit here, but I'm going to do what I can to help with Venezia. I know Yami's guns were probably still pointed the other way. He's trying to rotate him around. Okay, so we got the Venezia. I was taking some shells from the Z-52, but our Yamato, whose guns I think were already kind of pointed that way, he's going to make that Z-52 pay. Got him with his secondaries. How about that? Alright, they've got one ship. If he just runs, well, then this is probably over, given the time and number of caps, etc. But, as you'll see, remember me mentioning Summers made one mistake. So I'll just let this play out. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.